Well, welcome, and we have something from Hunkydory. These are delightful die cuts. You can probably see that. What is amazing about these is how many die cuts you get per book, and they are books. This has 210, 325, 185, and 160. Wow, 4 different themes. There are some fun things in here, and let me just show you one of the projects that Heidi has created. Look at that, and I love how this opens. So simple and yet so well done. Okay, won't you please come play with us? You know, wouldn't it be nice if I gave you the titles of these? Okay, Cozy Town, Dapper Chaps, Evergreen Farm, and Wonderful Wildflowers. That's the way we're going to go through them. So I'm going to start with Cozy Town. Now in England, they spell cozy with an S, so we're just going that way. I know we have it with a Z. And each of these has 4 different pages. You get 5 of each. So let me show you what this has. So this is one page. They are foiled. There you go. You can see that. They are die cut, of course. There's the second sheet. These are Cozy Town. So you get the whole town, including gazebos and a greenhouse and a picnic table. Oh my. And there is the 4th one. Again, you're going to get 5 sheets of each one. And here is what Heidi did with the Cozy Town. So this is, as you can see, it is a slimline card, and we do sell those in packages of 10 cards. They've got the score line and 10 envelopes, so that just works nicely. Just in case you're not sure, a slimline is 8.5 inches long and 3.5 inches wide. And what she did here I thought was interesting. She took some white cardstock and just tore it, and then she inked the edge with the khaki ink pad. So let me just set this down. And she did it, you can kind of see here, this is actually the one that she used, with a darker and then a lighter bit of the ink pad. So use the dark one when you first start using the ink pad, and then don't re-ink your blending brush and go into the lighter. And this is what it looked like. So just like that, and then she set it down and did that light edge. So very clever. Now, if you wanted smooth hills, she's got kind of jagged ones, you could do this and simply cut it instead of tearing it. So that's going to work. The blender brush is going to be instrumental in making this work. She did take also some of the powder blue and brush that for the top. So you can see it's a very light blue sky going on. So that's nice. So she kind of had her foundation built, her horizon line, if you will. And then going into this, you can see that she put this one, and this is foam tape. In fact, they're all foam taped. And then she took this one and put it a little bit going down the lane. And then she put this one down here, but she's also got a garden gate, and she's got some flowers. The garden gate is right there. The little birdhouse, that's back here. It's just tucked underneath that one that was foam taped in place. And you can see on the gate, she also kind of tucked it behind the house, and so you don't see that grouping of flowers. So very clever. Now, to get her message, missing you, or miss you, this is from our Script Dazzles. This is the black set. There are 3 sheets in here, and they all come together. She's got miss you. Now, those little flowers and hearts, that's part of the package. And on the inside, she just dabbed that khaki ink right here and used another one of the pieces. And then she also had 2 more little bouquets, so those were placed there. Sending love, that little heart, all those other hearts, that's part of the script greetings. So she used everything on this card. Now, you don't have to, but she chose to do that. Of course, you do have 4 more sheets, so that would work nicely. Okay, so that's our first. That is the only one that she did out of Cozy Town, because we have 4 of these die cut packages and we have 4 cards. So she did 1 out of each. Now we're going to go into the Dapper Dan. So this is going to be masculine. For all of you who are always very anxious to get masculine things, this is a piece that will work. Again, that's 325 pieces. This is the card that she did, but let me first show you the sheets that you'll get in this package. Do you hear my stuff tumble over? So you can see that this is the one that she used. It has all the ties, the cufflinks, and so that's the first. And then we have one with clocks and compasses and pens and cards and a pipe. And this is all those glasses and hats and sweet things to drink. And then we've got all kinds of hair stuff, beards and mustaches and other things. So that all works. And so you can see this is the one that she did, but I really love what she did. So this, she trimmed down her card to be 5 by 5. We're going to get a little closer so you can really see that. And can you see that very shadowy ties? Well, brilliant woman. She took her card and trimmed it, as I said, down to 5 by 5. The fold is at the top. So I have my card. I haven't trimmed it down, but I'm going to do what she did. This is the sheet that has some of the ties. In fact, let me show it to you right here. So she punched those out because she's going to use them on her card. But she did it with 2 cards, and then she taped them together and used them as a stencil on her card. I think that's really smart. So the inks that she's going to use in this particular one is going to be the Dove Gray, and it's a very, very soft gray. So let me see what I can do here just to kind of give you an idea. So you probably would want to use the low tack tape just to attach it down and then just go over those openings. And I don't think any of our design team has ever done this, taking an evacuated piece that's got the die cuts removed and using that as a stencil. So good for you, Heidi. Now this is, again, it's a very light gray, and I think it just looks neat. So again, the fold is here, so these are going this way. Let me just lift that off. Okay, so you can see them. So they're going that way. And if you wanted them to go the other way, well, all you do is just turn the stencil, if you will, over. So that works nicely. Okay, so that's step 1. And then as you can see, she has placed all of these and more just right down the outside edge, the left edge. She foamed, now these are glued down. She foam taped the shirt right here. And then the cufflinks, the 2 pieces, she did something more. Let's get in close, see if you can see it. I'll hold it up. Can you see that shine? It does look like cufflinks, doesn't it? Well, she added, my favorite, the 3D crystal lacquer. So all you'll do is just squeeze that on. It won't run everywhere. It will self-contain within your page, your sheet, your little cutting die. What am I saying? Your die cut. And it will stay there, but you just do need to let it dry, okay? Then you can see these, there you go, you can see those dazzles. These are the gold pearl dazzles, okay? So she placed them, the corners of her card, on each of the ties, that tie also, and then on the cufflinks. Okay, now going to the inside. Okay, she did use some solid paper to do the inside, and it actually came from the Romantic Florals. It's what I have down. I'll have to double check that that's correct. So she put the other one here, again, the black script dazzles. But then right here, look what she's done. So let me take that again. And she did cut a strip of the solid and is going to save that to put here. But before that, she went back to this stencil, and she wanted to have the bow ties along here, but the other ties top and bottom. But she used 2 other inks. So let me show you what those are. And I think I'll just do it right here. Let's see, she's got them like this. La la la, yes. Okay, so she used 2. This is roasted pumpkin, so it's an orange, and then buttercup, which is a yellow. And, you know, I'm not even sure that I need to do it because I can just show it to you right here. She did the yellow at the top part of the tie and the orange, the roasted pumpkin at the end. So you're going to have something that looks like this. So again, the yellow at the top, and no, I did not clean off my brush. I would normally have cleaned that, but right now I didn't. Okay, so just doing that, no big deal. Very simple to do. Then set that aside, and I will get a baby wipe, which is actually what I do at home also when I'm working. So I just rub it on here, and then I'm going to go into the roasted pumpkin and do a little bit at the end. Now this is going to be a deeper color. Okay, and you could let it go up the side a little bit if you wanted to, just whatever you like, but it is at the tip of the ties. And again, I'm just going to clean it off my baby wipe, put this over, and voila. So you have those ties. And what she did is she did them a row just like this, and another one going the opposite way right here, and then put more of the ties on them. Very clever. Put the bow ties up there. And then this piece, as I said, this has been foam taped on top, and it's got the other elements of this sheet. So we've got the briefcase, we've got the shoes, and we've got the suit on top. So really very masculine, very well done, and super, super clever, woman. I think it's just really nice. So good for you, Heidi. Okay, so that's Dapper Dan's. And again, 325 die cuts, so that's nice. Okay, now we are going to go to this one. Let's see what Heidi's got for us. This is Evergreen Farm. Whoops, there's my note. Okay, this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card, as you can see. She did trim off, you saw my note, 2.5 inches from the right side, and just did that right along the fold line and right here. And then she has elected to use this sheet. So there you go. So you've got the cow, and you've got some lambs, you've got a fence, some grass. Here is the next one. Again, it's foiled, so you can, hopefully you can see that. It's foiled within the artwork. So we've got more of the farm, and even more, even including a tractor and pigs, and there's a puppy. And we've got horses and burros and hay and all sorts, so lots of things. In her case, she elected to go with the steer, but first she wanted some papers, so, and that was kind of true of all of these. So she went into our 6 by 6 gingham number 1. Now gingham number 1 is the primary color, so that's red, green, blue, purple, yellow, and black. And you can see that she's chosen the red and the green. And on one side, it has a tiny gingham. On the other side, it has a larger gingham, same color. So what she has chosen to do is to mix those. So on this piece, she cut a piece of the green small gingham, and that's how it's said in the description. It's, the instructions are down below. So it will say small or large gingham, so that just so you know what that means. And cut a piece to fit here, and then she cut a red piece to fit right over it. So this is one, that red piece is one full one. Then she took a smaller green and put it in the middle. Then she went in to place her die cuts. So obviously this is going to go in the middle. It is foam taped. The gate is foam taped on top of it. Now she decided to add a ribbon, and that's going to come from the 1/8 inch ribbon set. So that works. And you know her. She's of course going to use the bow maker because that will give you a perfect one every single time. And she also put, let me just show this to you. So you see that one, and she put the fence, but then she put one of the grasses in front of it. So you can see it has a little bit of depth. Then she added from our yellow dazzles, this is the yellow border dazzles right down here. And there's one up here too, and then the jewel dazzles in yellow. By the way, these were done because of a customer request. So if you ever have requests of things, just let us know. You can fill it out when you do the comments down below, or you can contact customer service. Either way, they'll get to me and then I'll let you know what we can do. So she put some of the jewel dazzles there and there. Then for the inside, okay, so a larger piece of the small green gingham, 2 pieces of the red, as you can see, this one is shorter than that one, and that yellow border dazzle down here. But then she added the other little one right here and foam taped it. Now, the greetings that she has come from the tiny words and phrases, and that's where the happy thoughts come from, and also the simple joys. So they just fit in tiny areas, but they will give your message. So that's really nice. The sending smiles, well, that has its own set of dazzles. It's called Sending Smiles because that's what it has on all of them. There are multiple sheets in here. There are 4 of them, black, white, gold, and silver. You see that she did the black and did another bow, and that takes care of this one. So nicely done. Okay, we have our last one. And I know that's hard to read because white lettering on yellow is hard, but it's Wonderful Wildflowers. This has 160 pieces. And this is the card that Heidi made. And this goes back to our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card. And let me show you the sheets that she used. So here's the first one. This is the yellow backing, and this is the one that she used. So you can see the wreath and all of the other individual flowers as well as sprays, a little bit larger flowers. And we've got some fields of flowers and then some bouquets of flowers. So that's a nice mix of them. So let me just set this back. Now, she elected to use the watercolor wildflowers 6 by 6 paper. And you can see that that's not going to cover the whole card because it's 6.5 inches. So she took her sheet and matted it on the metallic gold and glued it to the front of her card. Now she didn't let it, she just let it have a matting about 1/8 of an inch top and bottom, nothing on the sides. Then she wanted to create this window, this aperture. So she used our circles and scallop dies, and it says in the directions how wide it is. I think it's 2.5 inches, and place the cutting die so it would cut there, and then to go through her machine, which only has a 6-inch mouth, she turned the card like this and ran it through the machine. That way it would cut and leave that perfect circle. Okay, so then she put her wreath down and then added some of the individual flowers. And you can see on this border from the watercolor wildflowers, she added individual flowers. And this too, she added the gold jewel, but these are the sparkly gold jewel, as you can see, instead of the gold pearl. Now, a bow from that same 1/8 inch ribbons. And so you get a bit of shine, not only from the dazzles, a little bit of the foiling, but also of the matting. So that all worked nicely. Inside, this is another sheet from the same watercolor wildflowers. And again, matted on the gold, but the gold is covering the entire inside of the package, so that works nicely. Now, she went into the cutting dies and took, this was one, but she took the next larger of the scallop and die cut the gold. And then the piece that was removed from here, that gets glued right on top. So that works nicely. You can see how those sprays of flowers are so pretty on the inside. Just a note, that's also coming from the tiny words and phrases, as I showed you before. And a bow out of the 1/8 inch ribbon and more of those dazzles inside. So that all worked quite nicely. So you can see with just one project from each of these, there's so much you can do with Wonderful Wildflowers, with Evergreen Farms, with Dapper Chaps, I think that's a great title, and with Cozy Town, no matter how you want to spell cozy. All of these. Now, these are in a money saver on the right-hand side of your screen. Gosh, if you got the money saver, you'd have 200, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 die cuts. That's not bad. Okay, all of that. The instructions are down below. Just click on the card that you want. You'll get complete instructions and see everything that was done. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, we would love it if you would like us. More importantly, if you would subscribe, then head on over to Paper Wishes, because we have Hunkydory products, and I think you'll find we've got the best prices in town. So that's nice to share with you too. And that will work well, and you can take advantage of the money saver, or you can buy whichever one or two you want. So that's going to work. Okay, by the way, there is a way to give us comments. So if you will scroll down, you'll see the cards. Keep going, you'll see that there are comments. You don't have to buy anything to make a comment, but I'm always happy to hear what you have to say, and I know Heidi would be too. Once again, I do want to thank Heidi for sharing lots of different ways we can use them, and I want to remember to use a die cut sheet as a stencil. Very smart, lady. Okay, I want to thank you especially for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.